You are oh, you are oh.
Well, hey everyone, hope you're doing well when you get this. This is a good word, episode 1, I guess. Um, devotionals based on God's good news found in His Word. And so today I want to talk to you about briefly conquering circumstances. In Habakkuk 3:17 through 18, the prophet says these words: Though the fig tree should not blossom, and there be no fruit on the vines, though the yield of the olive should fail, and the fields produce no food, though the flock should be cut off from the fold, and there be no cattle in the stalls, yet I will exult in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. A little background to this: Babylon is a world power about to be used by God to discipline his people. They're about to invade and capture and exile God's people. And so Habakkuk is seeing all this turmoil around him in his 3-chapter book, and he's struggling with tough questions. He's wondering how this could happen. He's wondering where God is. According to Warren Wiersbe in his book Walk with the Word, the 3 chapters kind of highlight a journey Habakkuk goes through. Chapter 1 is about perplexity. His faith is wavering. Chapter 2 is about perspective. His faith is watching. And chapter 3 is about perseverance. His faith is worshiping. And so this is obviously in chapter 3, this verse. And what he's realizing and what God has taken him to is this: no matter what he sees around him, no matter what the circumstances are that's surrounding him, he's going to rejoice in God. He's going to rejoice in the God of his salvation. God is on the throne, he's in control, and he has saved us. And so Habakkuk looked around, nothing good is happening really. And he's like, yet I will choose to worship. Yet I will choose to praise God. Yet I will choose to trust and hope in him. Habakkuk actually has a beautiful meaning. It means one who embraces. And we need to do that in these times right now. We need to embrace and cling to God with everything that we have within us. Whenever I think about circumstances and overcoming them, I love to think about Peter and the boys and the storm, and Jesus comes to them walking on the water. Matthew 14:22 and 33 says, Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side while he sent the crowds away. As Jesus. After he had sent the crowds away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. And when it was evening, he was there alone. But the boat was already a long distance from the land, battered by the waves, for the wind was contrary. They're in a storm. The circumstances are not looking good. And in the 4th night of the watch, he came to them, walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him on the sea walking, they were terrified and said, It is a ghost. And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. If you ever have anxiety welling up within you, if you're uncertain about the world, which is fair right now, I encourage you to kind of meditate on those words. Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Jesus is saying to you, take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Peter said to him, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. And Jesus said to him, Come. And Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus. This is what I love about this story. Peter is in a problem. The waves and the storm are causing the problem. And he's in the safety of a boat. And he realizes it's safer to be with Jesus on the waves. The waves are the problem. On the waves, it's safer to be with Jesus than in the boat. He'd rather be with Jesus. And I hope that's your cry today. I hope that you're not relying on any boats or any fig trees or anything for safety. I hope you're relying on God. I hope you're relying on Jesus. Finishing up the story, but seeing the wind, he became frightened. Beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and took hold of him and said to him, You have little faith. Why did you doubt? When they got into the boat, the wind stopped. And those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, You are certainly God's son. Peter had the faith to get out of the boat, and then he took his eyes off Jesus and started looking at his circumstances again. And he got discouraged and he got fearful. And we often do the same. So let's do what it says in Hebrews 12:2. Let's keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. Let's rather be with him in the safety of his arms than any of the fleeting safeties that we may imagine ourselves be able to get to. I hope this is encouraging. If you have any questions or any prayer requests, please let me know. Love y'all, guys.